We are still living through nothing short of a beat-em-up renaissance. Once upon a time, these games ruled the smoky arcades of the late 80s and early 90s, with juggernauts like X-Men Arcade redefining what chaotic six-player mayhem could look like. Decades later, the genre has stormed back with an almighty vengeance, with titles such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge reminding us why beat-em-ups have always stood tall as one of the purest and most joyous forms of digital entertainment. But now, into this golden revival, strides a mysterious new challenger, Marvel Cosmic Invasion. From the glimpses we've been given, it already looks like one of the most ambitious beat-em-ups ever attempted. A sprawling cast of Marvel heroes, a cosmic backdrop that takes the brawl into places the genre has never dared to go before, and combat that appears to balance reverence for the classics with a level of spectacle fit for the modern age. Yet what makes this all the more exciting is that with every passing week, fresh revelations keep slipping out, making the project look bigger, brasher, and even more unmissable. I may even dare say that this is the upcoming title I am most excited for above all others. So join me today as we explore why Marvel Cosmic Invasion could become one of the defining crown jewels of this beat-em-up renaissance period. The information keeps coming, the intrigue keeps building. So with that said, hello ladies and gentlemen, Big Daddy Top Hat here. Let us discuss how Marvel Cosmic Invasion just keeps getting bigger. While the brawler genre has enjoyed a tearaway revival in recent years, the modern top-tier releases emulating this historic playstyle are far from the only blast from the past that we have been gifted. Just look at the colossal Marvel vs. Capcom arcade collection, which unites every single sprite-based arcade classic into one magnificent package for modern hardware. And the best part, through my links below you can grab it for an eye-watering 57% off. Perhaps beat-em-ups are more your cup of tea. In that case, you'll be delighted to know that Capcom's beat-em-up bundle is available for a frankly ludicrous 84% off, while Streets of Rage 4 can be secured with 65% shaved off its usual asking price. Shredder's Revenge sits at a delightful 53% discount, and the almighty 13-game Cowabunga collection is going for a staggering 78% off. With thousands of other titles at up to 90% off, there has never been a better time in history to be a retro gamer. So indulge yourself, grab a shopping cart of huge bargains, and enjoy the rest of today's video. The 27th of March 2025 was a day that I originally assumed would be utterly forgettable. Yes, a Nintendo Direct had been scheduled, but with the Switch 2 looming just over the horizon, and the original Switch clearly gasping on its deathbed, I expected nothing more than a polite shuffle of crumbs. A couple of ports, a glut of farming simulators, perhaps even some bizarre gimmicks or rhythm-based monstrosities of good measure. Hardly the kind of thing to set the pulse race in, and yet that fateful day blindsided me in a way I never anticipated. Wedged between the obligatory Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon ZA re-reveals, with little in the way of fanfare, we were shown a game that fans have been yearning for across literal decades, dropped in casually as though it was an afterthought. No drum roll, no pomp, no grandstanding, just slipped into the lineup alongside whatever cookie-cutter farm sim or throwaway projects Nintendo was shoving our way during what appeared to be the Direct's toilet break segment. While Nintendo treated this title like an afterthought that no one would give a crap about, here we are, 5 months later, and it's still the main announcement from that day that I can't shake from my mind. Nintendo may have seriously downplayed its significance, but since then it has taken on a life of its own. The excitement hasn't dimmed in the slightest. If anything, the appetite has only grown as more people have clocked just how special this could be. The best part, you don't even need to purchase an expensive Switch 2 to experience it. Whether you're on a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox, PC, or still use your OG Switch itself, we shall all have a chance to dive in. So let's dig into everything we learned on that day and since. During our original look at the game back in March, it kicked off with a gorgeous cartoon animation, the sort of stylish sequence that instantly evoked the iconic intros of the very best arcade brawlers. In just a few short seconds, we were treated to a cavalcade of familiar faces: Captain America, Spider-Man, Venom, Wolverine rocking his classic retro attire, Storm, Villavale, Nova, and even a towering swarm of Sentinels practically begging to be dismantled piece by piece. At the time, I'll admit my reaction wasn't an immediate eruption of excitement. Quite the opposite, in fact. More of a weary groan. After all, Marvel games are absolutely everywhere these days, and not every one of them manages to hit the mark. My mind wandered back to PlayStation's State of Play last year, when Marvel Rivals was wheeled out, a flashy hero shooter that by all accounts has been received as a fantastic game, but one clearly designed for a very different audience than mine. It's built for a Fortnite generation, it's a zoomer shooter, with neon chaos, rapid fire spectacle, and most likely inevitable emote dances. And while that style clearly resonates with many, it simply doesn't speak to me or my generation. For a brief moment I feared Cosmic Invasion would follow that exact formula, just another product with Marvel's logo stamped across the box. But then, slowly, the penny dropped. That Wolverine costume, ooh. The unmistakable retro outfit straight out of X-Men Arcade, a sly nod to the golden days of 6-player madness. Suddenly, my eyes opened. By the time the animation faded into raw gameplay footage, the rusty gears in my brain were whirring furiously. The 2D sprite work, glorious! The animations, smooth as silk, the backgrounds, overflowing with detail and atmosphere, and the co-op chaos unfolding before my eyes, the kind of joyful carnage designed to ruin friendships in the most wonderful way possible. But the moment I truly knew this was different came with a single shot, the lift section, because let's face it, no true side-scrolling brawler is complete without that sacred ritual of passage. The elevator fight, Streets of Rage had one, Final Fight had one, even Scott Pilgrim paid tribute. And now, here with Marvel Cosmic Invasion proudly carrying that torch, the second I saw it, I knew this wasn't just another Marvel tie-in. This was a love letter to the golden age of the arcade, and months later, I'm still convinced it could be one of the finest brawlers ever made. So let me dig into with you why I still feel this way. From our first look at this title right up until our most recent glimpses, Marvel Cosmic Invasion still looks nothing short of stupendous. Not merely ticking the boxes of what makes a great beat-em-up shine, but arriving with the kind of pedigree, polish and historical lineage that screams quality. This isn't just another superhero cash-in, the sort of disposable tie-in that clogs up store shelves and vanishes into obscurity. No, this feels like the real deal, the true spiritual successor to Konami's X-Men Arcade, while simultaneously standing tall as its own brilliant brawler. To truly appreciate why this feels so significant, one must return to the dawn of the 1990s, a golden era where Konami sat proudly atop the arcade throne. This Japanese powerhouse delivered some of the most iconic licensed beat-em-ups ever created, from the shell-shocking brilliance of their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cabinets to the sheer chaotic spectacle of the 6-player X-Men arcade machine. Konami were an unstoppable force. But as the decades rolled on, tragedy struck. The arcade faded, the Turtles lost their spark, and the proud legacy of these franchises dissolved into a mire of mediocrity. And yet, like a pizza-fueled roundhouse kick from Michelangelo himself, Shredder's Revenge erupted in 2022 and reminded us all what true greatness looked like. Crafted by Tribute Games and published by Dotemu, it was nothing short of miraculous. A revival so expertly executed that one could practically hear every talentless game journalist lining up to churn out their tired, return-to-form platitudes. Shredder's Revenge understood what made the classic special. It respected the legacy while elevating it with smart quality of life touches, proving it wasn't just nostalgia bait, but a genuine contender in its own right. After decades in the wilderness, the Turtles were back in a beat-em-up every bit as radical as their heyday, and Marvel Cosmic Invasion now stands poised to achieve that same miraculous feat for the X-Men arcade lineage. What a time to be alive! 5 months later, the pedigree behind Marvel Cosmic Invasion still feels almost too good to be true. Tribute Games are once again at the helm, with Dotemu handling publishing duties, the very same pairing that delivered the miraculous Shredder's Revenge. And if that's not enough to make your retro senses tingle, let's not forget Dotemu also brought us Streets of Rage 4, arguably the finest example of how to resurrect a beloved franchise with modern flair while staying absolutely true to its roots. These are not opportunistic chancers fumbling around with a famous license. These are seasoned custodians of the genre, developers and publishers who get it, who know how to handle classic IP with reverence while still pushing it forward for, dare I say it, the modern audience. Which is why Marvel Cosmic Invasion is shaping up to be so much more than just a spiritual successor to Konami's legendary X-Men arcade. It carries the unmistakable DNA of Shredder's Revenge in its veins. It is being made by the studio that made the Turtles cool again, and the publisher that brought Streets of Rage roaring back to life. You'd have to be willfully cynical not to feel some hype. If Cosmic Invasion sticks the landing, and every sign so far suggests it will, we could well be looking at the next modern beat-em-up classic, another jewel in this glorious beat-em-up renaissance. So after reflecting on why it is so likely for us to be receiving another all-time great, let's dive deep into the most recent announcements surrounding this astounding looking title. After that initial March reveal, things stayed tantalizingly quiet for a few months, but the silence was finally broken during Summer Game Fest. That's when Dotemu and Tribute Games dropped a fresh trailer showcasing two new playable characters, She-Hulk and Rocket Raccoon, joining the already intriguing roster along with hints at classic Marvel villains lurking in the wings. Then, just a few weeks later at San Diego Comic-Con in July, the roster expanded again with a headline revealing that Silver Surfer and Beta Ray Bill will be joining the roster. Cosmic heavy hitters that immediately raised the stakes. But perhaps even more tantalizing than the heroes themselves was the confirmation of a fully voiced cast, giving this brawler a level of presentation rarely seen in the genre. Yet the most intriguing detail of all was tucked away almost casually: the confirmation that Marvel Cosmic Invasion will feature a whopping 15 playable characters. With many now revealed, it leaves a few still cloaked in secrecy. Who are they? Will they be beloved fan favourites long overdue for their time in the spotlight, or deep cuts plucked from Marvel's sprawling cosmic lore? For now, it remains a mystery, a tantalising gap in the lineup that keeps speculation running wild. And if the pattern of Summer Game Fest and Comic-Con reveal is anything to go by, it seems almost certain that the next few months will peel back the curtain even further. However, as exciting as all of this was, things reached an entirely new level when lucky event attendees were given the chance to go hands-on with a playable demo of this coveted upcoming release. For months, Marvel Cosmic Invasion has lived in our heads as flashy trailers and tantalizing snippets of footage, but suddenly people are actually able to feel the weight of the combat, test out the combos, and experience the chaos of co-op brawling for themselves. Early impressions coming out of these show floors have only stoked the flames further. Reports describe combat that is slick, responsive, and packed with a kind of crunchy impact you'd expect from the best in the genre. Animations flow seamlessly from move to move. Characters feel distinct rather than reskinned clones, and the stages themselves are alive with detail, colour and atmosphere. It's one thing to watch a trailer and assume a game looks the part, it's another to hear players coming away claiming this could be the real deal. So let's talk about a few accounts. Chris Carter of TheGamer.com was granted the privilege of sampling Marvel Cosmic Invasion at Summer Game Fest. Carter remarked that the game immediately distinguished itself from its contemporaries by its sheer variety of playstyles. Venom, for instance, functioned as a bruiser with the unique ability to grab foes, while Storm could take to the skies in a way that only a select few of the cast can. Carter went further, lavishing praise upon the game's presentation. Every hero, every enemy, every environment pops vividly off the screen. Clarity reigning supreme even in the chaos of combat. He even remarked that as he slashed through AIM soldiers on the helicarrier or zapped insectoid swarms in New York City, it felt as though he had been transported back to the 1990s. Not in the shallow remember this nostalgia sense, but in a deeper way. In his words, this was an experience true to Marvel's original comic universe spirit, free from the suffocating shackles of MCU synergy that once tainted Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. What truly enchanted him though, however, was the sheer sense of scale. Game director Fred Gemus himself explained that the team wanted players to feel the game was a genuine invasion, and according to Carter, this promise was fulfilled with waves of insectoid foes flooding the screen until he and his co-op partner were forced to unleash their ultimate abilities in unison. And let us not forget, dear viewers, that this isn't just any old side-scrolling slugfest. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is proudly flying the flag as a tag team beat-em-up. Yes, much like the iconic Marvel vs. Capcom fighting games of old, players will be swapping characters mid-battle, chaining attacks together and concocting outlandish team-ups that would have once only existed in comic book daydreams. We've seen this tag team formula executed with spectacular success in recent years, most notably in Double Dragon Gaiden, which proved that the mechanic isn't just a gimmick, but a glorious way to inject fresh layers of depth and replayability into the brawler format. Now with Tribute and Dotemu weaving that very system into a Marvel title bursting with larger-than-life heroes, the potential for chaotic co-op mayhem is utterly delicious. As for Carter's on-hand experience, in short, his verdict was clear. This isn't just a Marvel tie-in, but an authentic Marvel experience, brimmed with heart, theme and mechanical polish. As he himself put it, after finishing his session, all he wanted to do was play again. Now, according to our friends over at IGN, Marvel Cosmic Invasion is unlikely to reinvent the wheel when it comes to gameplay. And you know what? That's precisely the point. Writer Jeremy Smith notes that if you've ever sunk a week's pocket money into Streets of Rage, Armored Warriors, or their personal favourite, The Simpsons Arcade, you will know exactly what you're in for here. Smith was keen to stress that much like Shredder's Revenge, accessibility is key. The controls are simple, intuitive, and inviting enough that even the archetypical button-mashing younger sibling can pick up a pad and immediately contribute. This, of course, has always been one of the most charming qualities of the beat-em-up genre. It's democratic violence, if you will. Everyone is welcome to the party, whether you're a seasoned veteran of the arcades or a complete newcomer mashing buttons in blind hope. What Smith also highlighted was the attention to detail sprinkled throughout the environments, from carving up Midtown Manhattan outside Spider-Man's stomping grounds, complete with sly references like secret hospital billboards for those who know their Marvel lore, to battling aboard a heli-carrier where you can gleefully chuck hapless soldiers over the edge. The love poured into the backgrounds is undeniable. They concluded that Cosmic Invasion is a great game that immediately announces itself as something special, even if its long-term staying power is yet to be proven. So here we stand, 5 months on from that humble little Nintendo Direct reveal, and Marvel Cosmic Invasion has already snowballed into one of the most talked about beat-em-ups of this Renaissance era. We've seen the pedigree behind it, we've marvelled at the hands-on impressions, and we've heard from outlets like The Gamer and IGN singing its praises. And yet, despite all of this, the most thrilling part is that we've only scratched the surface. There are still characters hidden in the wings, waiting to step out of the shadows and join this cosmic free-for-all. Who would they be? Beloved icons who fans have demanded for decades, obscure cult favourites dug out from the dustiest corners of Marvel's archives, or shocking surprises that nobody saw coming. But speculation alone is half the fun, and the developers have been playing their cards oh so close to their chest. And let's not forget, this is Tribute and Dotemu we're dealing with. This is a team that understands how to build hype, how to respect legacy, and how to deliver the goods when it matters most. With Tokyo Game Show and most industry showcases still to come before release, we can rest assured there are plenty of revelations left in store, from fresh gameplay footage to stage reveals to those all-important final roster additions. Mark my words, we are on the cusp of something spectacular. If Shredder's Revenge and Streets of Rage 4 prove that the beat-em-up is not only alive but thriving, then Marvel Cosmic Invasion is about to plant its flag as the crown jewel of this golden revival. The mystery lingers, the hype builds, and the cosmic storm is only just beginning. Strap yourself in, dear viewers, because this Renaissance still has many surprises left to unleash. If you wish to gorge yourself on even more retro delights, the Marvel vs. Capcom Arcade Collection unites every sprite-based arcade classic into one mighty package for modern hardware, and through my links below you can secure it for a staggering 57% off. But perhaps it is the belt-scrolling brawlers that truly set your heart racing. Fear not, for bargains abound. Capcom's beat-em-up bundle sits at a frankly absurd 84% off. Streets of Rage 4 can be yours with 65% cleaved off its usual asking price. Shredder's Revenge drops to a delicious 53% discount, and the almighty 13-game Cowabunga collection has tumbled by a whopping 78%. With thousands of other titles marked down by up to 90%, there has never simply been a better moment in history to be a retro gamer. So indulge in your addiction, stock up on treasures, and revel in the bargains. For the age of the beat-em-up is truly back, and with these discounts you can experience the very best of it without emptying your purse. Links below, ladies and gentlemen. Happy shopping and cheerio.